What I want to point out here in this particular video is that when we think of Microsoft OneNote, it is an electronic notebook. And when we think about the paper-based notebooks in our lives, it gives us the opportunity to store notes in those particular items. In this case, what we see is that this resembles our paper-based type of notebook. In real life, normally we have these dividers for our notebooks, and we generally refer to them as tabs. Inside of Microsoft OneNote, these are called sections. On this particular screen, sections are noted by looking in this area. You can add additional sections by clicking on this particular star, and you can see that when I click it, it allows me to add a new section. So, in this instance, I could say tab, I type it in, and I hit the enter key. Going back to this tab, I can now focus on what my screen looks like again. So, keep in mind that in a paper-based notebook, these are called tabs. Inside of OneNote, they are called sections, and you find your sections located at the top, and you can navigate back and forth by clicking on those areas. Also, generally, if we look in between each one of the sections, we notice that we typically have our pages. Inside of Microsoft OneNote, where we would find those pages would be over here to the right. So you could click on each one of these individual areas in order to find the pages that are between each one of the sections. Depending on the section you select, that will dictate the pages that show. In this instance, I'm going to click on this section, and again over to the right, these are referred to as your pages. Looking at this one notebook, if we were to look over inside this area, which is called your navigation pane, this is where we could see the notebooks that we have available. In this instance, this notebook is open, which you can tell because you see this icon. The other part is knowing that if you were to right click on this notebook, you can actually go in and rename it. I'm going to deselect. In this case, if I look at this notebook, it is called OneNote 2010 Guide. To rename it, I would right click it, select rename, and it gives me the opportunity to change the name of this notebook. If I decided that I only want it to be called OneNote 2010, I could press the delete key, and once I click on OK, the name would change. To name it back, I would right click that notebook, I would select rename, and in this instance I would put guide back in, and just by clicking OK, this notebook's name has changed.